Good morning everyone. Today we're going to be talking about the rank 2 Dark Falls because a lot of people are wondering what the loot is, how the run is there a guide out there, and well, I'm going to be answering all those questions. But before we jump into the video, if you're new to the channel, I upload NGS content daily, so if you do play this game, I would really appreciate a subscribe as it really helps out the channel. Anyway, without further ado, let's begin the video. So the very first thing I want to show you guys is of course the loot table, because that's probably what everyone wants to know about. And unfortunately, if you guys were thinking Blizzardium would drop there, a new set of armor, or even the rugged weapon series, you are wrong, and this really sucks, to be honest. So these are the possible drops from the loot table at the moment. This will be updated if there is new drops. However, from, I don't know, probably 100 runs or so, these are currently the items which I've dropped. So the highest rarity is going to be a rock series weapon, so a 6-star. So you will not be seeing any Kaiser weapons or any rugged weapons, or at least we haven't seen it dropped yet. As for armors, again, no new armors either. That's really a shame. I was really hoping to see a new set of armors. Unfortunately, that is not the case. And the most painful thing for me is, of course, there is no Blizzardium. So Blizzardium does not drop here. However, you are guaranteed 12 photon scales instead. Whoa, 12 photon scales. So yeah, this really sucks. I mean, if you're doing it for the loot and the loot alone, I do not recommend doing the rank 2 Dark Falls because, well, you're not really getting much loot. You're much better off doing a regular urgent quest, or running purple triggers, or running anything else basically, okay? Future Care over here, just letting you guys know that the quest counter is where you actually activate the trigger quest. So you can find the quest counter person in any of the towns. They're right here in Kavaris, and then you're simply going to click on trigger quest over here, and right here there is the Dark Falls Interception rank 2. Now something I want to remind everyone is that if you do fail the quest, it does not consume the 5 triggers, and you actually get your triggers back. So you can try this as many times as you want. It only consumes the triggers if you complete the quest or if you kill Dark Falls, okay? But of course you guys probably read the title and were like, okay, this is a Dark Falls guide. Please tell me how to get the S rank in Dark Falls. So if you are trying to get an S rank, having a Kaiser weapon is going to help you significantly. You can get an S rank with regular Evil Eclipse weapons as well as the Chattel series or the Rock series. However, you need to play absolutely perfect. And it's really hard to play absolutely perfect, well, because this fight is difficult. It's not an easy boss fight. Second of all, your worst enemy here is dying. It's not the time. 20 minutes or the lack of DPS or whatever is the least of your worries. The number one concern is staying alive. That should be your number one priority throughout this fight. The damage requirement is not that high if you just want to clear it. You've got 20 minutes to just clear the boss fight. It's not too bad. You can do it with your 6-star rarity weapons. However, in order to get the S rank, you do need to complete it with 5 minutes or more remaining on the timer, which is a little bit of a challenge because basically you're trying to clear it at 15 minutes, which is a lot harder. And that's why the Kaiser weapons are so much more important. The next question a lot of you guys are asking is, what is the team composition that we are using in the video? We have 3 Bravers and 1 Fighter. Yes, 3 Bravers and 1 Fighter. We do not have a Ranger for Blight Round. We don't have a Techer for buffs and heals. We have literally just raw DPS. We don't even have technique damage. It's just raw physical DPS. And this actually plays to our favor, as I'm about to show you later in this guide. So once we start the fight, it's quite simple. He usually does a range attack first. However, it's not always the same. Those things really hurt, those laser beams, so just be careful. But right after that attack, he will clap his hands. You want to stand as close as possible because the timing of the counter is just a little bit weird. If you stand a little bit too far, you need to do a delayed counter. I don't really know why it is. It's like a shockwave attack of some sort. So I just stand right at the very front, so it's really easy to counter. You just time it exactly as he's clapping his hands and you get the perfect counter. Next up, he's going to be doing this attack. What I like to focus is the closest arm to the boss. And you guys want to work as a team when focusing on specific arms. I like to focus on his right arm first, and then his left arm, the inner right, and then the inner left. Then this is a new attack over here. You just stand at the side, you wait, and then you stand back in. He's going to clap his hands again. You just wait for that. Boom. You see? You stand right at the front and you'll be able to counter it very easily. Just the moment his hands touch together, you hold down your weapon action and you'll be good. Then again, he's going to shoot missiles, and then you can just stand at the very front when he's shooting missiles because he's always going to clap his hands right after that. However, something that I want to point out over here is because we are actually physical damage, you may notice that we're dealing more damage to his HP than his break gauge. And this is actually really important later down the line, because you don't want to break the boss in phase 1. What we do is we hold off DPS until phase 2 in order to break the boss, and it actually gives us a lot more time to DPS, because phase 1 is pretty tame, pretty easy, nothing's too crazy. You can get used to it with practice. Phase 2 is when things get very chaotic. So, you know, this is just phase 1. It's pretty simple. It's pretty much all the attacks that we just talked about. It's just going to be rinse and repeat. And you just keep hitting the arms and just keep focusing on the left arm or the right arm, depending on which one you guys decide to focus on. As you can see there, we destroyed both arms and now he's stunned. So now we can just focus on the core. Every time you break 2 arms, he will get stunned, and that's a great time for DPS. Alright, so now he's gonna do his laser phase. A lot of people die here because they're not used to what he does here. So usually here, I like to hold down my right key, so I run all the way to the side over here, and then those laser beams at the side, you're gonna see, you see that red tracker that's shooting projectiles at me? I time it perfectly so that I can get the counter every time to deal additional damage, but if you're not used to that timing, that thing deals a crap ton of damage and can actually kill you after like 2 shots. So you do need to be a little bit careful about that. Here things get a little bit messy if you lose track of time, because there's a lot of stuff going on the screen. Whenever he punches the ground, there's all these pillars popping up, and then there's the explosion from his second punch. So there's a lot of stuff going on. But I believe in you. Just practice, and you will get used to this rotation, okay? So now he's red, you may notice. However, the attacks are exactly the same. There's nothing different from the attacks. It's now red and it does a lot more damage, so you just gotta be careful. This laser phase is coming again. The laser phase is actually quite annoying, to be honest. It seems like during the laser phase, you do a lot more damage to his HP than the break gauge, as you can see over here. So maybe that's something that you guys can capitalize on whenever he's in the laser phase. Maybe that's when you go really high DPS to try to lower the HP and keep the break gauge so you don't accidentally break him in phase 1. So you can see here that we pretty much stopped DPSing because we know that he's going into phase 2 because we drained all his HP. And we've actually did this 3 times in a row, but this was the first time that we actually cleared the run. So here we go, we're in phase. Again, he'll just, do the thing just like in the regular Dark Falls. We gotta break the little cocoon thing in order to get out. He'll trap all 4 players, and there are only gonna be 4 bubbles. So you gotta break out of all of them, and then once you break out, he will, get stunned, and you can deal damage again. So as you can see here, he is stunned. This is another DPS phase. So over here, you can just try to burst as hard as possible, but you can see that his break gauge is basically 0. So once he goes into phase 2, he's instantly gonna break, and that actually gives us a lot of time to do a lot of damage. And also take note that my Photon Blast is ready, because I'm gonna be Photon Blasting one of his legs. We like to target the back legs first before focusing on the front ones. So you can see here, he broke immediately. I'm trying to, okay, maybe I focus a front leg over here. Yeah, was this a front one? I'm pretty sure this is a front one. But either way, you can see over there that I Photon Blasted immediately, and we're just going ham on the boss. You can see that we actually gained a lot of DPS. Look at how much damage we did to the boss immediately. And boom. Oh, that was actually his back leg, so good. So you see, we broke one of his legs immediately before he actually could do anything in phase 2. And by doing this, it also skips a very essential phase. Whenever he goes into phase 2, he does this like carpet bombing type of thing. But if you break him immediately, you skip that entire phase altogether. So you don't need to deal with his carpet bombing and then flying around and all that garbage. So you can just focus on DPSing and just go straight into his normal phase over here. Now there is a lot of stuff going on and it is super messy over here. So just be very careful and pay attention to your HP and just focus on survivability. Here I actually die because the laser, oh, maybe I didn't die yet. I will die soon. There you go. You don't want to stand in the front with that laser, because what you see over here is there is this pulsing thing going on, which actually pulses out and it actually hits everything in the arena. So as a braver, it's actually really easy to counter. However, as I was in this area, unfortunately, I was hit by his gigantic laser from his giant yellow mouth thingy, and that killed me. Another thing to also take note is revive at current location 24 seconds. You do not need your teammates to revive you. After 30 seconds, you can just click this and you can revive normally without having your teammates to revive you. And here we go, I got revived. So over here, I made a mistake. I should have focused the leg where everyone else was focusing on, except I was standing in the front here. Or maybe it wasn't a mistake, I don't know, because I did have aggro. But either way, we destroyed his back leg over there. So now he's only got one more leg that we need to focus on. But you need to be very, very careful because all of these attacks hurt like hell. It pretty much two-shots me, so I'm assuming that most range players or more squishier players or glass cannon players are probably going to die in one hit, so you need to be very, very careful. And there we go, we destroyed the last leg. Now is the final phase. This phase is normally quote-unquote free, however, you do need to be very careful of his giant mouth laser because that thing does a crap ton of damage if you ever get hit by it. It usually never hits, but if it does hit you, well, you just instantly die, so you need to be very careful about this. And also pay attention, there are, pillars from the ground, there's lasers at the side, so there's a lot of things to take note of, but during this phase, what I do is I just lock onto the head and I go ham. So you can see there, I got hit by the mouth laser or his chest laser, whatever you want to call that, and I lost like half my health. So I have no idea what happened there. We just immediately broke the boss from like half break gauge to 0. So I don't know if it's like based off the number of hits or something, but something happened there and we broke the boss immediately. And then there we go, DPS phase done. And here we go, S rank. As you can see, we cleared it in 11 minutes and 27 seconds. Unfortunately, the loot is absolutely poo-poo, not very good. So yeah, the loot is okay, but the boss fight is definitely very, very fun. Special thanks to all the members for supporting the channel. It really means a lot to me. Thank you again. And that's all I wanted to cover in today's video. Hopefully you guys found it helpful. If you did, I would appreciate a like and a subscribe. And I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. Bye. What can I say except you're welcome?